Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly Grand Meister today, because today we are carrying on with our adventure, playing a mashup of a couple of RPGs. So we were, last night, we started playing this adventure and this mashup of systems, and today we're continuing it. And this is a combination of Cubicle 7's outstanding Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition with the setting of A Song of Ice and Fire from the Song of Ice and Fire novels and the Game of Thrones series. And we're also using material from Green Ronin's A Song of Ice and Fire RPG. And with me today are the stars of our Westeros fantasy roleplay adventure. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Sir Byron the Bold,
Nice.
a hedge knight.
Excellent. And joining him is John.
Everyone, I'm John, and I'm playing Sir Rydrick Rain. He is an anointed knight.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so yesterday we got to everyone got to pick their characters, and we talked about how their relationship is to the house that you were serving, House Sergeant. And House Sergeant is the house that is currently master of Broken Spire Keep, is the colloquial name, technically called Black Tower. We did find an illustration of it. So there's
Bent and unbroken.
Yes. So what do you guys recall? I guess first off, let's talk about let's see here, this map, I think. Nope. Is that the one I want? No, this is the one I want. Let's talk about the reach and where you guys are located. So do you recall roughly where Black Tower and the holdings of House Sergeant are located?
I think we're somewhere over here.
That's right. Yep. We used the house creation rules. I mean, a loose version of them last night to generate some backstory and some history behind House Sergeant. What do you guys recall of being the highlights of that?
Let's see.
Well, the first thing, we took it by conquest.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Yep.
From someone who was aligned with the Black Blade?
Blackfires.
Blackfires, yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
there was some decline that occurred right afterwards, and we tied it in with either embezzlement or loss of funds and betrayal. Right after that, from the house, it was Sir Rydrick Rain's one of his relatives that were working for the sergeants that caused all of this and ran off across the narrow sea.
Yeah.
And Sir Rydrick came in to fill in a gap to rebuild honor in the area. And then what was the next bit?
I think that was the most recent event you guys had. There was the Conquer, there was the
Decline,
Setback, there was
Betrayal.
and the Villain.
The villain, yes.
Yeah. So the villain was the rogue Rain, Sir Reuben.
Yeah.
We then started our session proper. We talked about how each of your characters were connected to House Sergeant, what brought you here. And then in our opening scene, we learned a couple of other developments, and we set a path for our party. What do you guys recall?
Let's see. I do recall there is a attorney involved, but that's more of a means to an end.
Yep.
We got locations. Our Sir Maester William intercepted or received a raven stating that they had located the rogue Rain across the narrow sea, working with Sir Derek Fossaway, also known as a Bad Apple, and Miles Blackfire the Monstrous.
Melees is his name.
Melees.
Those Valyrian names can be tricky.
No. And then there was one other person he was working with. Or was just three? And the Band of Nine or the Golden Nine?
The Band of Nine is what you'd heard about getting in a region called the Disputed Lands, between kind of the border regions between three of the free cities in Essos. across the Narrow Sea. And do you recall what was noteworthy about that?
Well, I know they're over there conquering and gaining power.
Yeah. The disputed lands, like what you, if you didn't know, Maester Willem could have told you, was that the disputed lands are typically just, it's the borderlands between 3 different incredibly powerful, uncooperative city-states, so they tend to go back and forth. Rather than just fighting in proxy wars, the Band of Nine seem to be conquering.
And I think Maester William was able to research a bit more, or maybe it was Aaliyah.
Yeah, it was Aaliyah.
Found out Spotted Tom the Butcher and Leomond Lachare, Nine-Eyes captain of the Jolly Fellows.
Yep.
So we got some more names for that, and that kind of led us to House Quay over in the Sun House, and that they were sponsoring a tourney where...
Hosting. Yeah, because it's House Hightower of Old Town that is sponsoring it.
And we decided that would be the a good chance, 1, for notoriety, 2, for making connections and finding out more information. And I think each of us have our own particular reasons for going there. And
yeah. Sir Byron, what was your reason for going?
Oh, to make some cash. This is a great opportunity to get rich.
Of course. Yeah.
And Sir Roderick saw it as an opportunity just to spread his name, but also acted a little bit under the cover by sending a secret missive that didn't stay secret too long.
Yeah, Aaliyah knows that something was sent, and Maester Willem knows, but I don't know that Sir Roderick knows that they do.
No,
right? Yeah. So then we had, let's see here. Is there anything else? Oh, we did meet your Liege Lord too, Lord Dramos Sergeant. Anything else that you guys can recall from yesterday?
Well, we were bringing Timos Sergeant, his son, with us to show him the tourneys and get a bit more experience there. And then we were heading towards the uplands, where we learned a history about the people there, and a bit of bloody history too, that they don't exactly get along with the Rains at the moment, but it's not open hostility. Yeah,
the villain, it seems, by siding. Yeah. It seems to have affected them too. They're not hostile necessarily to House Sergeant yet, but they're certainly not friendly to them. And it's well known that it was Rain that betrayed them. So,
unfortunately, with the chivalrous house, all the trust is extended under that code. One person can break that very easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why the hammer comes down so hard when they do.
House Fossaway is an example of that, where it's split into 2 different things. The lords of the Uplands are House Mullendor, and the current lord is Matthew Mullendor. What Master Willem was shared with you is that Lord Matthew was actually present at the tourney at Ashford Meadows, where the intended future king Baelor died, and a number of other things happened. The split House Fossaway occurred during that event. The current king, King Aegon the Fifth, was present at that with the head of the Kingsguard, currently Sir Duncan the Tall. And let's see here. Something that's occurred to me is that Sir Duncan, I'm pretty sure Sir Duncan married in the books, and the Kingsguard are supposed to not marry.
I do recall that they can't have wives or children while in service, and when they retire, they get an opportunity to. But
maybe that's what happened, or maybe he did before he was named to the Kingsguard. Mm-hmm. But isn't it? I don't know this for certain. I'm gonna look up afterwards. But one of the things that's famous about Aegon V is that he married for love because he wasn't expected to be king. There's others who were supposed to be there, so that was an issue going in. He didn't marry one of his sisters, and then he also allowed all 3 of his children, all 3 of his sons, to marry for love as well.
Yeah.
So it ended up causing what were supposed to be dynastic alliances. Things are not incredibly stable in the Seven Kingdoms at this point, too. King Aegon is much beloved by the small folk, but there's been a number of insurrections and rebellions and things like that, to say nothing of the Blackfires. One thing I forgot about too is one of the unique things about the setting that I'm sure you guys were aware of, but I didn't mention to George or to Ingolf, is the lengths of winters. Winters can last for years in the setting. And
they're unpredictable.
Yeah, and one of the most recent winters actually lasted 6 years. I was reading last night. So the last winter ended in 236, which would have been about 22 years before this. So depending on your character's ages, you may have seen the very tail end of that. And again, 6 years of unending winter. It's just
that has provoked no amount of speculation of what kind of cosmology George R. R. Martin built into his world.
Yeah. Because there's some pretty wild stuff that links back to his sci-fi stuff too. But in any event, so that is something to bear in mind too. Like a 6-year winter is a tough thing on everybody. So the Seven Kingdoms at this point are not as rock solid as they once were. The Targaryens no longer have their dragons. There is someone who was not expected, like the least likely to become king, who is currently king. And there is yet another Blackfire that has seemingly cropped up across the Narrow Sea. Anything else you guys recall from last night?
I think we covered most of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, our banner.
Yeah.
Was the was it red? Was it the red background with the
white
tower?
field with a red
White
tower?
field. Yes.
The Rains have a white field with a red lion.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, the lion might be the opposite direction from
It is.
the Lannisters.
I remember that, and the red lion had like a kind of forked tail on it. It's like, that was a really interesting banner. I'm going to save that to my computer.
Nice. All right, then, guys, we are picking up with you guys on your way to uplands and traveling through the mountains. Now, this is going to be much more idyllic than what I think the actual travel circumstances are like, but I wanted to give a sense of, just how untamed, even in the Reach, a lot of the region. Now, hold on, is that pasting or not? What's going on here?
I'd love that valley with the mountain kind of landscapes.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's kind of where in Oregon where I live, if we hadn't civilized it, it would look just like that.
You can find stuff like this about 45 minutes outside of Calgary. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So this is, I think what you may remember from last session is that we rolled the weather for you guys, and it was not great. So you were, as Sir Byron, you're currently suffering fatigue.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm carrying the heavy load here.
So what, I think that likely means that Sir Ridrick, it's taken a couple of days in order to get to Uplands because you're traveling kind of around a indirect path. I think that there is also a cart that's going to have like your, you probably have some like, low folk or small folk with you to help set up the things, like servants of the castle, laborers, carpenters. There might be a Wainwright with you as well, in case you bust a wheel or something like that. I
think you sent a squire for each of us for our armor.
Yeah, definitely, because you guys would.
Horse care.
Yeah. So there will be aspiring, knights with each of you, and the I think it's your total band is probably about maybe like between 12 and 15 people. So not like a huge amount, but the only knights traveling with you are you two, and then of course Timos, who's not a knight, he's a future lord.
Gotcha. I did notice the way you structured the classes. It's squire and then knight, and I'm like, that's the levels.
Well, that in fairness, that's how it is in the for the for the careers in it too. So I agree, it's a really great way of giving, until your second level, you're not actually in your career, but that's a characteristic of Warhammer Fantasy. I can't take credit for that. Yeah. I can't take credit for renaming them, though. I will take that. So the Sir Byron, I do think that you are likely the one who is sleeping in this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and which means, Sir Redrick, you were one of the first up, and we can assume you're squire. Do you guys want to give names to your squires?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I think that my squire I probably brought with me from House Rain, and he's probably one of the lesser Rains, or maybe a Bastardborn.
Sure. How about Kieran? Kieran Rain.
Kieran Rain.
Okay, Kiran. Yeah. And then Jeffrey, you think you've got someone who is in service to House Sergeant, or another?
Yeah, I think that normally Byron does not have a squire. Okay. So probably House Sergeant found someone that they have teamed him with for this.
Okay. So what if, let's see here, what's a good... How about Jorvan Birch?
Jorvan Birch.
Yeah. Said Kiran, right?
Yes, yeah.
Kieran, okay.
Okay, I'm just going to write down the names of your squires. So Kieran Rain and Jorvan Birch. So Jorvan, what is it like when Jorvan tries to wake up Sir Byron? Is he a let me fucking sleep a bit, or does he treat his squire well? I'm curious because I'm wondering whether the squire's like nervously waiting outside your tent, or whether he's actually tried to wake you up.
He probably would be the one to wake me up. I don't know that he'd have to be nervous.
Okay. So then,
I'm not cruel to, people that are...
So then maybe Jorvan, you have 2 horses. Remember, you've got a riding horse and you've got a destrier. You don't waste the destrier riding along. That's only used for lists or for battle.
Sure.
So then Jorvan is probably kind of, getting things ready. You can see Sir Ridrick, you're up earlier. Kieran has already, got all got your armor on. You can see that the camp is stirring a bit. You're perched on to give you another idea of just how overgrown it would look like from the ground. Here's an idea of what kind of the path is that you're following.
Winter sure does a number on our roads, doesn't it?
Yeah, and this is also not a heavily traveled area necessarily. Why don't you each give us guys an average lore the reach check, please? Do you have the reach, Ridrick, or do you have...
I've got Westeros is probably the closest.
Yeah, so then make it a challenging check for Westeros.
And mine should be average?
Average, please, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, great roll.
Okay. Good start to the day. All right. So, Ridrick...
Long over there, Byron?
Yeah. Perhaps you were looking a little more closely, or you were talking to someone before setting out, and what you heard is that, so the kind of back roads that you're taking here, these are the kinds of trails that the shield marchers, remember the mounted knights that patrol the Dornish march, they would be making use of this stuff, and this is also a way of getting word back and forth between the different keeps along here if you're not sending ravens, or if ravens are being shot down. What you would you also asked along to, is there places along here, and what you would find is that this trail meets up with a place called it's the crossroads that would then lead up into Upland, and there's an inn there, the Crossroads Inn, and because Upland is a much more important keep, if you look on a map of the Reach, there's only some of the castles and keeps that will show up there, and Uplands is one of those. So it is a more important and more impressive structure than what Black Tower is, or some of the other lesser houses here. So you're gonna be able to hit there, and then it'll be about another day from there up to maybe another day and a half up to Upland. So you are aware that it's only maybe a day and a half of further travel along here before you're going to reach the crossroads. You'll have that inn to stay at, and then you can, make your way up. You also may be able to get some further information too, because this is likely getting closer to the point where people are going to be going to getting ready to go to the tourney, the Sunflower tourney. But what you notice, Redrick, is for one, it looks like that Jorvan is doing everything he can to get everything ready to maximize the amount of sleep that Sir Byron gets. And he's a quite big fella, so you can probably see he's getting the heavy armor onto a stand in order to get it ready. You also notice that the rest of the camp seems to be getting their things together, but you do spy that on kind of a higher point, you can see Aelia up, and she's making use of her Mirish Eye, a device that she's acquired from somewhere across the sea that allows her to see further distances. And the way she is studying it, she's studying longer than just like checking the weather. It is overcast, it is already drizzling, so it is probably going to rain again today, but at least it does seem like there's more visibility today than there has been in past. What do you do?
I'm just thinking how Ridrick would what he would think about that spyglass. I think maybe something like if the gods meant us to see that far, he'd give us falcon eyes.
Okay.
But he'll probably go up to her and ask what she thinks about the day, because as far as I know, she's pretty well informed about those things.
So one of the things, two of your abilities are night vision and or night eyes and acute vision.
Yep.
Speaking of falcon eyes,
ooh, well, the gods meant for me to see pretty far. I mean,
yeah. So you walk up and she, looks over at you, and Sir Ridrick, what do you make of this? She hands over the Mirish Eye.
He kind of looks at it, kind of grimaces a little bit, and then he kind of looks through it. These things, I'm guessing, are going to make him slightly dizzy because he's not used to it.
Well, I mean, she's got it. Like you can recognize what it is, and
just to looking through it.
Yeah, like the Westeros are not quite as ignorant as Europeans would have been necessarily at the time. At least not ignorant of technology. In particular, if you're from, the Rains are rich, not necessarily well-educated. So if you are a little disoriented by it at first, what you are able to pick up is to the southeast that you're heading, or southeast, you're heading a little bit to the east, southeast, you can see that there is a flock of crows flying. And you sort of double check it is in the direction that you are traveling, so it would be along the road. And there's very few reasons for things to be circling, for that many birds to be circling above, or at least in particular carrion birds like crows.
Yeah, he'll hand the spyglass back and say, "With that many birds, dead men lie ahead."
My concern in particular, and she puts the leather wrapping on it. I think it... do you think it perhaps prudent for yourself and Sir Byron to see what the road holds for us before we bring Timos and the others?
Yeah, I'll get the squires. It's best we suit up before we run ahead.
I would agree. Is Sir Byron still sleeping? You can see...
Not for long.
Jorvan is getting ready to wake you up. So, Sir Byron, why don't you give us an average endurance check? Let's see if you're able to shake that with a good night's sleep.
Endurance. Oh, yeah, it's skill.
And you will get... So, when it prompts you for bonus, put -10. Because that's the fatigue.
Oh, yeah. -10. I did that right. Oh my gosh.
Do you wish to fortune that?
Yeah, we start with fresh fortune, right?
You do, yeah. I filled up your green bars once again.
Well, let's try one more time.
So be average check with a -10. Come on, big money.
Come on, roll 20. Yeah.
There you go. So you're no longer fatigued.
Better. Yeah, he's feeling better.
So how does Sir Byron feel as he's stepping out?
Actually, he's feeling good. I mean, the fact that he sort of slept that off, he probably, pats him on the back and he says, thanks, Jorvin, I needed that.
Of course, sir. Your armor?
Yes.
So,
I'm hearing rumblings of some trouble.
Sir Ridrick, you're maybe coming over to Sir Byron, accompanying Aaliyah.
Probably what got me out of bed.
They'll say, well, don't be too eager to put away the armor, Jorvin. And they look at Byron. We've got crows circling ahead, many of them. Dead bodies may await.
Oh.
Therefore, trouble. We should get geared.
Of course.
Maybe ride your destrier. You want to hurt the back of the riding horse.
Yeah.
Your destrier is is your war horse. If you're going to fight from the back, that's what you would be using.
And hey, even in combat, those things are meant know how to defend themselves. So it's like fighting with a good dog sometimes.
Well, more to the point, they won't get startled by the noises and whatnot. So it isn't long before you are fully armored up once again, Sir Byron.
I'm looking at the terrains, like lances will not be useful here. So
yeah.
This is honestly fighting more, I think, what Sir Byron is used to than necessarily you, Sir Ridrick. You, no doubt, because you're anointed, you've done something impressively heroic. So what that is it's up to you to reveal at some point. But this is good. Up and down, it's going to be muddy as shit because of the rain. This is potentially an ugly fight. Now, one thing I was going to mention is your choice. You got two weapons, Sir Byron. You've got your long sword, but you also have your bastard sword.
I probably would take my bastard sword out for this.
So just like bastard swords in other games, you can use a bastard sword in one hand. It is a two-handed weapon, but what it has over the longsword in general, it is damaging, which means when you roll, when you're checking for damage, you can use either the success level or the ones digit of your attack. So whichever one's higher. So for instance, like if you rolled an attack and you got a 3 of your success level, but you happen to roll 38 to get that success, you could use the 8 instead of the 3.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. And then I believe if you go to your combat tab, is it defensive as well?
Combat. Bastard sword. Defensive, yeah.
Defensive also grants +1 success level to any melee test when you're aware of the incoming attack. So if you use your bastard sword to defend, it gives you +1 success level in the contested melee to defend.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Now, that changes if you were using it in one hand, though. Now, let's see here.
I think Byron the Bold using a bastard sword, that's spot on.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, and...
yeah.
Where is it here? Oh, it's because it's in up in arms. Hold up. Here we go. All right. So the here we go. So the bastard sword, if you're using it in one hand, it becomes tiring and slow. I think slow grants +1 success level to, or either +10 to parries to defend against it, but I might be thinking of blackbirds there. Nope, I got it right. +1 success level to defend against you. So if you're using it in one hand, it's slow and it is tiring. Tiring means that the damaging trait that we mentioned, where you use the ones digit, you only get to use that if you charge. So if you run in and then attack, then you get to use the damaging. Otherwise, you're not able to do it. That doesn't change that it does actually more damage than what the other one does, and it doesn't take away the defensive trait. So if you're using that, the other thing is each of you have shields, and just so you know how the shields work, you can use the shields using your basic, your melee basic skill. But if you choose to parry with your sword or your weapon instead of that, what you do is you gain the shield quality in extra armor to any attack. So I think each of you have a regular shield, so it's a shield 2. The shields also have the defensive quality, so they'll also add +1 if you use those to it. So, Sir Byron, this is a long way of saying if you're using the Bastard Sword in one hand and the shield in the other, probably the most optimal strategy is to just use the shield for its armor quality instead of parrying, and parrying with the Bastard Sword because you get +1 success level. It's just as useful as what the shield is. And for Sir Ridrick, it's your call whether you want to use the shield if it's against a more skilled opponent because it gives you the +1 defensive, or if you want to use it for the extra armor just to take the extra hit. I'll
probably use it for parrying just because I got a shieldman talent, so it's even better to use it.
Oh, it has 1 success level. Right. And I think, so I forgot to add this in because there is something with the new advantage rules, because we're using the group advantage for this.
Yeah.
You can spend, what is it here? I think you can spend, here we go, 2 advantage to either cause damage when you're attacked, as if you were the attacker, or to push the opponent back 2 yards from you. Yeah, get yourself out of engage. So when you have that advantage, that is something you can do with that too. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, shields with talent.
Do I take damage when I'm using it two-handed?
When you're using it two-handed, what it does is it allows you to use the damaging trait without charging.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And it's not easier to parry.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So then you guys are mounting up, and it should be only a matter of about 15 minutes of riding forward to get to here. You guys are all set up, and the drizzle is beginning to increase. So it's going to be another fucking miserable day of riding along here, and the riding along this path is not going to be pleasant either. Would you each give us a average riding check as you're riding out from the group? They continue getting ready. Aaliyah says she will keep an eye out for any other trouble.
Riding, where is that?
Riding will be under, I think it's the first column on the left. Riding horses.
Horse, there we go. You said average?
Average, please, yeah. It's tricky, but these are trained horses, too.
Oh!
No problem. All right, so you guys go
to a good
riding
start.
down. And what these massive destriers carrying you forward, you can hear the sound of their hooves, digging into the muddy path and kind of going up and down, and the heavy breathing of their massive, powerful lungs. But it's only a matter of a couple of minutes before you guys realize just how out in the middle of nowhere this is, because the sounds of the camp pretty much disappear, and all you can hear is the sound of your armor kind of rattling. And Sir Ridrick, I think you might have the high... Oh! What are your respective perception scores? I actually don't know. Perception is the skill as well.
Well, modified is a 17, but I got a -30, I'm thinking, for my helmet.
Oh, yeah.
So.
18.
Okay.
Yeah, we're both pretty imperceptible because of the helmets.
You can take, so if you wanted any of your gear, if you want to take it off, you just go to the bottom and expand it so you can see the options and just tick off worn. So if you feel that you wouldn't be wearing a helmet at this point or something like that, you can feel free to take that off.
Yeah, I think I'd probably wouldn't be wearing the plate helmet, at least right now.
Okay.
I think the male core still gives you -10.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because it stacks. So the male course, unfortunately, you can't take that off, unfortunately. The plate helm you could take off. The other stuff is sort of, it's part and parcel of the armor. There's a guy who dies in the first season of Game of Thrones and in the first book, because he doesn't have his gorget set up properly, so the mountain spears him through the fucking neck.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I think we need helmets.
Yeah. All right, so if you're riding up, then Sir Redrick, you're the one who's keeping an eye out for where those crows are. It's about, like I said, about maybe 15 minutes of ride till you get down to where you are. It does feel like, as you're riding down, if you've got lore warfare, which I think both of you guys do.
I don't see it.
Okay, so Sir Redrick has because you're a hedge knight. You're not really studying tactics. Sir Redrick, this strikes you as like, this is a low gully where like it's very hard to get away. Anyone trying to escape here would have to be going uphill. So if you're pursuing, this would be a great place for an ambush.
Yeah, dude, are we near enough to see the bodies?
You cannot see anything as of yet. No. You can see you're getting very, very close. How do you guys want to approach here? Do you ride up to where you think the crows are, or do you stop and then approach on foot? What are you thinking?
Sir Redrick is, all about displaying the status of knights and try to dissuade anybody from that might consider attacking them, along with the horse. So he's eager to ride right up to the scene.
Okay.
Stealth is not quite his forte. Although Byron might think otherwise, being hedge knight.
He's got his bastard sword out, and his name is Byron the Bold. You think he wants to sneak in there, or just slash down whatever's in our way?
All right. So you guys go charging down in, assuming you've got your helm off as well. Make sure you got that unticked, and then would you guys each give us an average perception check, please?
Yeah, I tried to untick it, and it didn't affect the perception, so I think that's being considered elsewhere.
Oh, let's take a look here.
See, it could be the coif that's doing it. No.
What's the total penalty you've got right now?
Minus 30.
Minus 30. So
where do you see the armor?
It's on combat tab.
Right, but like the check if you're wearing it or not.
Oh, you have to hit the cog and it say worn or not.
Oh.
You might need to close the sheet and open it again. Sometimes that stuff doesn't.
Okay, let's try that.
In other sheets, I'm not sure about this one, but in other sheets, sometimes it doesn't recalculate until you do that. Well, this one is pretty responsive, so let's see.
Perception. No, still got the minus 30.
Okay, so let's see what. Let's see. Yeah, helm gives minus 20, and the coif gives minus 10.
I could just put a 20 to the skill when I roll it. Just
yeah. Let me take a look here. Maybe we're doing something wrong here. Okay, yeah, perception is showing minus 30. Maybe it adds the modifier and then doesn't take it off once you. I can see how it does update your armor points, right?
It does.
Yeah. Let's see here. It didn't add. It's only minus 30. Yeah, it's add plus 20. I don't know why it's applying that. I don't remember there being anything else that's affecting you. And this is a sight thing, so it would also give plus 10, so you can add plus 30.
Okay. Because of my acute senses?
Because of your acute vision, yeah.
Go ahead and roll that.
And Sir Byron, I think you actually get plus 10 because you've got acute hearing, I believe.
And what's the difficulty?
Difficulty is average.
Average, okay. It's not going to be too bad then.
Nice.
I do have acute hearing. So you said, excuse me, you said that's plus 10?
That's plus 10, yeah, and then the average. Remember, don't put the plus sign in.
Average, and then plus 30 because I shouldn't, no helmet and.
Oh, if you've got no helmet on, yeah, plus 30, that's right. If you're taking your.
Right. It just doesn't. What
happened there? How'd you roll? You had a double plus.
Did you put the plus sign in?
Did.
Oh, I might have.
Yeah. So remember, no plus sign. What did you roll there?
36.
36, and what was your? What was your target?
Like you rolled an 18 on the die.
Yeah, so 36. So that would have been a success. 2 degrees of success.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So riding in, and actually, it would have been the bonus would have been 10 or 20 because you're the helm. No, sorry, 30. No, you're right because plus 30 between the acute senses. Ignore me. I'm an idiot. All right. So you guys come in. Here's 2 things. For one, Sir Ridrick. What you can see is that off of to the side, there are 3 bodies that you can see there. Is it 3? Yeah, bodies of 3 men. And Sir Byron, when Sir Ridrick points this out, you can see that, and then you can hear something as well. And you look over, and not far away, there is a young boy. His body. Oh. And it seems as if there is soft moans coming from him.
Oh, no. I'll get off my horse.
Okay.
Getting off a large horse like that in plate mail is an endeavor.
Yeah. Takes me a minute.
Byron has I think it's like a 50 strength. So he's enormous. Yeah. So you're down.
It's just, I know the true mark of a knight is able to get on your horse fully armored by yourself, even though it's easier with a squire.
Mm-hmm. So what you can see...
keep my seat and keep looking around.
Sure.
While he investigates.
From where you are, Sir Reggie, what you can see is that these bodies are clothed in little more than their undergarments, and there's a layer of mud and blood on them with wounds suggesting they've been in a fight recently. There is also, it looks like some have some wounds from carrion picking at it. So Byron, you're off your horse. What do you do?
Yeah, head over to the boy.
Okay. So if you make your way over to the boy, looking over at the bodies, let's see here. So Ritter, you rolled really well on yours. What you can see from even your position is, in spite of the mud and in spite of the blood from the wounds, you can see that there are rust stains on the clothing. And that would suggest that these men at one point wore armor, although it's nowhere to be seen right now. They can't have been dead for much more than a day or so as well. Sir Byron, you get down and you're heading over towards the boy?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I think you've got heal. Would you give us an average heal check, please? Just as you're making your way over. Are you sheathing your bastard sword?
Yeah, I don't want to reach down to check on him with Actually, I don't know would I sheath it or just set it down beside him in case something comes out of the bush? That's
that's probably a wiser idea.
You can one-hand it, so.
Yeah, and if you
don't, that's true.
If you don't have your shield out, then.
Yeah. So, sorry, what did you say for the heal check?
Average, please.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh, that's good.
Just made it.
Success. So you're making your way over, and this kid, he is he's not moving. He's moaning very softly. It's possible that he heard the horses and heard the armor. He's not even really able to open his eyes, and this kid is, he suffered a mortal wound a day or so ago. So he is on his way out at this point.
Yeah.
But you may be able to... He still is alive at this point. What do you do?
Tempted to just, put him out of his misery here. I think there's nothing we can do for him.
He's trying to say something through cracked and blood-flecked lips.
I guess I'll bend over. What is it, boy?
He's saying something. Timon, Sir Timon. You don't know the name. Sir Timon doesn't mean anything to you.
No.
his one eye kind of opens up a little bit, and he's a little surprised at first, and then you can see he's struggling trying to move, but his body is just not responding. It's twitching, but not able to get up.
Yeah, I'll say the name to Sir Roderick in case he knows the name, and then I'll say the boy is gone, and I'll sort of take out my bastard sword and just, kill him.
Okay. So you can hear the moan, Sir Roderick, and you're well aware of what Sir Byron has just done.
Yeah.
You can give us.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Doesn't mean I like it, but
no. You can see he's not very happy about doing it either.
Well, give us a cool check, actually. Sir Byron.
Me?
Yeah. Make it. Look at average. I think you're like. There's definitely good intent here. Or hold on, not cool. Maybe it's. Might be.
Already.
Oh well, he critically succeeded. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, so then that's you know what, you're not. I think you know that like this kid could not have survived. One of the neat, what I was getting use that for is one of the neat things that they do in Twilight 2000, the latest version from Fantasy Flight, is if you want to execute somebody, you got to fail a humanity check.
Oh yeah,
right, because this is like that's easier said, but yeah, this is. You definitely have seen enough blood and death to know that this kid is. You're just forcing him to.
If his wounds were that bad, his next how many hours were going to be torture?
And how long has he been out here too? Like it just. Yeah. Okay.
Do I recognize the name Byron said?
That's what I was just gonna check here. Give me 2 seconds. I will say, well, the Song of Ice and Fire campaign guide for this has like big lists of all the different. Houses that serve in the different places. So
and, Roderick's fear here is either we stumbled across a group of knights, or a knight and his squires had been ambushed and their stuff taken, or something else more sinister is going on, like bandits.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds here.
And if that's the case, I hope we just didn't execute a squire.
Oh, if he was referencing a sir, I think there's no question that this kid was probably a squire.
Yeah. If that's true, then we're honor bound to find out who did this and return the favor.
Would you give us I think it'll be a very difficult heraldry, lower heraldry check for Sir Byron.
Very hard.
Yeah, for each of you guys. If you've got training in heraldry too, Sir Byron, you can make that check as well.
No,
it does not.
Okay.
Probably the good reason why he doesn't know who the Southern Knight is.
I love it when you get to the tourney, because everyone's gonna be flying their pennants and whatnot. You can picture the scene where Sir Richard's going around and being like, "That's so and so, so and so. That's so and so, so and so. That is from House what's it?"
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a really the likelihood of being able to click a name just based on and what house they'd be from. If you saw the heraldry of these knights, then that would be a different thing. But yeah, so there's no question. Yeah, you're not sure who this Sir.
He might be a hedge knight.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, if you mention the knight, Sir Byron, when you look over the bodies, every one of the men have the characteristic like calluses on their hands. The rust stains on their clothes from where the armor would have been, and the calluses on their hands, there's no question that these were probably knights. So someone has waylaid these 3 men and their squire in here, stripped them after leaving the squire at least for dead.
Yeah, if somebody was as bold to attack, a group of 3 and a squire, most likely 3 of them being knights, then our caravan is not safe either.
No.
And we have to pass through here to get where we're going. So I say we don't stick around. We get back, and then as we come by, we'll collect the bodies and see if anybody at Uplands knows who they are.
You want to carry them out of here?
It's that, or leave them to the birds. These are knights. They deserve some measure of burial.
Do we take the time to dig a hole?
Not here.
I am already overburdened, friend. Who is going to carry these bodies?
We have a wagon.
All right, fair.
Okay. Then you guys mount, or Sir Byron, you mount back up. I'm trying to say, I think you've got outdoor survival, Sir Byron. Is that right?
Outdoor survival.
I think I have it too. It's not a specialized skill, so it's under melee. It's an odd place for that, but
Oh yeah, I do have it.
Okay. I think you got training. So well, the Sir Ritter, you're not actually off the horse. But Sir Byron, if you're going to kind of look around to see if you can pick up, so I think, let's see here, survival.
yeah, I'm definitely staying mounted because if anybody's going to attack us, I'm charging them down.
Yeah.
That way I can at least take some of the cover, or give Byron some cover in the distraction, get back on his horse.
Oh, speaking of which, you can actually use outdoor survival in place of endurance for managing the weather, Sir Byron.
Oh.
Neither of you, sorry, Sir Byron, you're not trained in track, are you?
It's under secret signs.
It's a advanced skill, so
No, I don't.
okay, so ignore me. Then I was thinking you might be able to use that for checking tracks, but no.
If you haven't spent all your experience, you'll be able to buy a rank.
I do have track.
It's not if you can't buy stuff outside of your professions for now.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
But I do have track marked on here.
Do you? Do you have
You
points
have
in
to
it?
have an advancement in it, so to use it,
Because it's
it'll
probably
be like it'll say track, and then it'll give you your ability to score a number, and then the center you have. Yeah.
The 0 has to be a 1. I see.
yeah.
Or
It's an
something.
advanced skill,
Yeah.
so
Okay, I see. Yeah.
yeah. And that's
Right, it's
the
on
difference.
sheet, but it's not. Right, I got it.
Yeah, the ones on the left are your basic skills that everybody has and everyone can use, and the right is the advanced skills. If you don't have any advances in it, you can't make use of the skill.
Like trade is not a normal skill for the knight, but I have a talent that gives it to me, so that's why I have ranks of craftsman.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually, for each of the characters, I did stick with whatever random talents they got, because humans get 3 random talents at the start, and I thought I would stick with that just to give some unexpected variety for some of these characters. So then, Sir Byron, you're back on your horse, and you guys are riding back to rejoin the rest. What do you tell Aaliyah when you arrive? And Timos. I think when Timos hears from Aaliyah what's happened, he'll be particularly interested. He'll be a little perturbed that he didn't get to go along. But so
Does Timos have plate that he's riding around with?
he has mail, I believe. He doesn't have plate.
Okay.
But to be honest, I don't know if he's strong enough to carry that. I think each of you
so,
guys might have. There's a talent called Hardy that you get as a knight that increases your encumbrance.
That's sturdy, I think.
Or maybe it's sturdy. Hardy might be the one that gives you extra wounds.
I got a huge encumbrance compared to Talthair in the other game.
Well, yeah, but a big part of that is the horses. The way the sheet works is it's assumed that you're going to be carrying some shit in your horses, so any horses you have, it automatically adds to your encumbrance capacity, and you guys have both a riding horse and a destrier. So, for armor, for Timos has a mail coat and then leather leggings, leather jacket, no helm. So he's dressed like a lord who may need to have a little bit of protection, but not to ride into battle.
Yeah.
So, when you guys come...
Ridrick will tell Aaliyah that we found bodies of, looks to be maybe 3 knights, although he figures maybe it's a knight and some bodyguards and a squire.
Knights?
They've been, and They've been picked clean, left in their underrobes. No survivors.
If someone set upon 3 knights, even with ambush, they've got to be more than just peasants turned bandit then.
There was a survivor, wasn't long for the world. He said a name. Do you recognize it?
What name?
Did you say Sir Tyrion? Tyrion?
Sir Timon.
Timon.
Yes. Timon.
That's probably one of the reasons why he didn't get it, because he probably didn't hear it right.
Yeah.
So,
we don't have the keen ears of Sir Byron, so.
Yeah.
Let me go.
Timon.
Aaliyah shakes her head and looks at Timos. Timos says it means nothing. There were no markings, no indication of who they were.
No, they were stripped nearly entirely. The only reason we knew they could be knights is whatever was left of their garments had rust marks from, armor in the rain, the calluses on their hands.
So someone set upon 3 armored knights. Just to rob them, and to rob them of... Was there anything left behind?
Not that we could see in the mud and rain, but we will pass them again. If they are knights, we should take what there remains to Uplands to see if anybody can recognize them and give them a burial. So we'll be using some of the wagon for this purpose.
Yeah, Aaliyah says, then it is a shame we left Corb. Corb could tell us, Corb at Black Tower, Corb could have told us what direction they were riding from. Though in this weather, perhaps that may not have been whether they were coming from the north or whether from the south. Maybe someone will recognize that, if not the crossroads, then at Uplands, for who these men were. But do we continue on this path, or do we... It is a day to reach at least the crossroads inn.
If these bandits, for lack of a better word, are opportunistic, they would not have stuck around. I believe it would be safe enough to keep traveling. Just, we must be very wary going through the area. It's prime place for an ambush.
Timos asks, why steal the armor and everything?
I would imagine if these are lesser knights, or lesser known, they could masquerade as such for whatever nefarious purposes.
Confederates arriving at a tournament.
Perhaps. And if so, they give us a chance for justice if we find them. Because we know to look for signs of rust within the armor.
What's on there, this is likely what you would find on any... If you're wearing stuff with a sweat and the, riding in the elements or whatnot, the markings that are on there, you likely have that on your own clothing, just because you cannot avoid that, particularly in this weather.
Kyrion's doing his duty and cleaning my armor properly.
So, what do you guys propose to do then? What Aaliyah says, that if we're turning back to go around, we're adding weeks to our journey.
Yeah, I don't know that we can do that.
Okay.
We must be very cautious as we go through. Sir Byron and I will be on our horses, weapons ready.
Okay.
Timos, you as well.
He gets his sword ready. The squires will have spears at the ready as well.
If it comes to it, stay behind us and attack when you can. But do not put yourself in danger.
I will not shrink.
It's not about shrinking. He clangs his armor. It's about not dying.
So if there's anything else you wish to do, the speed with which everyone's getting ready is accelerated now. They were nearly doing it, but it does, lazy, rainy day, so people were not necessarily hustling to get everything ready. That changes and everyone gets together. And when you set forth on the path once again, it is much more like a, something riding to campaign as opposed to something that is just traveling. Would you each...
I'll turn to Byron and say, do you think we should stop only long enough to gather the bodies and then move quickly out at a quick pace once we've done so?
Yeah. I mean, I obviously think we need to move quickly.
I'm unfamiliar with the roads, but I know the general layout, how long it'll take us to get there. I do not want to be in that stretch of road for long.
No.
We get trapped inside.
Very dangerous.
Okay, so... Hold on, there is...
And I assume our squires are familiar with horses, so I'd probably want them to be on the riding horses just to make sure that those animals get driven quickly if we need to.
Okay. It is if you're riding your destriers along on here, they are war horses. They don't have endurance. Like they're not intended to be ridden. You can certainly do that, but they're like, those are horses that are designed for a kind of a specific purpose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll ride on, like, trot along, not super fast when we get there, but the moment that we get the bodies, then we book it for about, mile or so.
Sure.
And then start slowing down again.
You know what? I think, let me check here. I think there actually is in either Up in Arms or in Death Steps, I think there's actually rules for different kinds of horses.
Okay.
Which is fucking cool.
I love how crunchy this is.
Yeah. Well, with the, I think it gives some great texture to the kinds of, let's see here, kinds of things that the distinctions that would be important for this kind of game. Okay, so that's right there. Maybe it's in the core book. Hold up. Let's see. There's a ton of stuff in here too. Here we go. Destrier is a horse trained for war. Is it in the bestiary section? Let's see here.
I'm really enjoying playing the role of a knight.
Oh, it's great.
I normally just do the utility kind of sidecaster guy, and I'm like, this is pretty fun. Nice.
Yeah, it's cool that the game does reflect the level of protection you get from that heavy armor too, and the downsides that come with wearing such armor.
Yeah.
Oh no, you've slipped and fallen, and then you can't get up. Squire, help!
The tournament I was mentioning yesterday, the Ashford Meadows tournament, it ended with Sir Duncan the Tall on his adversary. I can't remember the name of the Targaryen prince, but it was... They had wrestled themselves to the ground. He'd forced the helm open, and he had a dagger at his eye, and is like, "You submit." So it really ended in a messy scrap.
Accept your loss.
Let's see here.
One part of me is like, "Come on, get into a fight," and the other part's like, "No, we need to avoid fights."
Totally.
Okay, so your destriers are trained for war. Yeah, the riding horses will be skittish. And I think the endurance of the riding horses would be higher than the destriers. I've got to take a look. Between now and if we play this again, I'm going to make sure I find that stuff, because I think there are...
Can't say if.
When. I enjoyed the shit out of running this, so yeah, I think there's a good chance. And then everyone enjoyed that last night, it seems, too, so. Let's see. Okay, I'm not going to waste more time looking. I'm certain it's somewhere in here, but here's what we're going to do is, I was looking for because there's a neat kind of roll you make in skills where you're rolling 2, and I think it's 2 skills, and you take the lower of the 2 to test it. It's like called either a combined or a complicated test. And
we haven't done one of those yet.
No, we haven't used those yet because there's only certain like subsystems that make use of them. And I just want to make sure. I think that's how it works, but I don't remember. Here we go. Combining skills. You make one. Yeah. So you make one check. Oh, this is actually more interesting than that. So you make one check, and you need to pass both skills. So you use the same roll for both skills, but both skills are modified by their own complexities, depending on the task.
Ooh, how would we model that?
So I don't think you can roll it on. What we would probably do is have you roll 2 separate skills, and we take. We don't want to do the lower of the 2 because that's not really fair.
We could just roll a D100 and see how it compares with our modifier.
And then compare it to both things modified by the difficulties. But yeah, that's how you do that, because there's certain talents that allow you to just, and I think one of you guys has one that to not do that. You just take your better of the 2 skills and roll against that. I actually don't know if it's with the 2 knights, but somebody has a talent that does something like that. So the reason I wanted to, I'm gonna check one more place here. There's the start of the skills section. I wonder if it has something listed there. Let's see. No, there isn't. Okay, so you guys arrive there, and you are able to load up the bodies. They'll be able to make room for them. They find some cloth to wrap the bodies up, and then place them in. And then I think it'll be, it's going to be, I would say, an endurance and riding check. But Sir Byron, in place of endurance, you can make use of outdoor survival if that's a better skill for you than your endurance.
That's 45. Or 36. So actually endurance is better.
It's better for you? Okay. So because you're trying to make time with it, let's set the endurance at challenging. So it'll be whatever your score is. And the riding, I think the riding will be, I think it'll be challenging as well. Only because it's, you're using the destriers and you're really having to push them.
So for me, my lowest score is a 41, so I do a D100 less than 41, and that should tell them if I succeed or not.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Nice!
Yes.
Okay, and then Sir Byron, you're comparing your riding and your endurance. Which of those is the lower of the 2?
Where's my ride again? There it is. It's a 48. So it's the lower is the endurance, which is a 45.
Okay, so go ahead and give us a check of 45 or less, please.
And you can copy that the rolling thing there to get the same result.
So you do 1D100.
Less than, and then 45. No spaces.
That. No.
So you could fortune that if you want. The consequences are just going to be fatigued again.
Oh man, I'm so tired of being fatigued. I'll try again.
Try again.
What happens when you're so big, Byron? You should go on a diet.
I am just sore. He trained hard in the day that we had here. To get
I just imagine your horse is more uppity and.
Okay. So, you guys are able to. You're having to break out torches near the end just because you are riding late and through the rain, but you do eventually arrive. Sir Byron, you are unfortunately fatigued, as is your horse when you arrive. Why don't...
Hey, Kev,
Yeah.
could he spend a point of resolve to remove that fatigue? It's resolve comes back slowly, but
It's only, I believe it's only for either the scene or for the. Doesn't resolve only give you temporary relief?
you can gain immunity to psychology for a round, ignore modifiers from critical wounds for a round, or remove a condition.
Yeah, you can spend a resolve to do that, or yeah. And resolve is the less you get that back when you act in concert with your motivation.
Oh, okay.
Have you set your motivation?
Oh, there. I did.
What's your motivation?
Redemption.
Oh, okay. So when you do that, then you will get a point of resolve back. Or we can do something consistent with that. And with motivation, with the resolve and the resilience thing, the game suggests that you prompt me to give it to you. I'll try and remember that stuff too, but it's because, you know, keeping track of each character's motivation, I can easily lose track of that. Yeah. So then you guys arrive, and it is, let me show you the map of the...
Imagine in Sir Byron's like, I will not be fatigued again. Let's just do it.
Okay.
I imagine with the Sir Byron being a hedge knight, the horse that he got was like specifically bred and trained with him, so he's always kind of like a little give and take with the horse, and that's why it's having so much issues with getting it to do what he wants. I'd like to explain that narratively in my head.
Yeah.
Which Sir Ridrick, this is his destry he's had from like squirehood.
Yeah. So it's because he's a pampered kid.
Yes. He hasn't had it as hard as Byron.
Okay. So, guys, this is the inn at the crossroads. Let me bring you over to here. There you go.
Love this map.
So, you come riding up outside, and I think you will have to go inside in order to get the, you know, to notify the stable boy that that you have a party arriving.
Yeah.
So you guys are likely at the head of the caravan when you arrive. There are torches burning outside. The weather is foul as well. So you're drenched. You are covered in mud. And I guess fortunately, you guys will have a very brief respite because, guys, we're already at our mid-session break.
Oh, sheesh. Where did that go?
Yeah. So for those listening at home, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll be back and see what awaits our travelers at the inn at the crossroads. So back momentarily.
Oh.
What do you think, Jeff? Like this?
Yeah, I like this game. That's fun for sure. I like the setting.
It's like really easy to get yourself into.
Yeah.
What if we got enough rooms here for a group of 12 to 16 people?
Well, we did bring some tents.
Yeah, people can sleep in them with the horses, so. 10, 13. Room for 13 to sleep in the rooms upstairs.
All right. Guys, so you make your way into the ground floor, the inn. You guys want some block text? Could I have some block text for you?
Sure. You see, narratively, Sir Ridrick hopping off his horse, pulling his helmet off, and there's like almost that like steam level of heat because they've been pushing it. Yeah,
and I think Sir Byron, like your destrier is just fucking puffing. So you're quite a big lad too. So this thing it's like asking a weightlifter to run a marathon.
Yeah.
You know, this thing is just steam is coming out of these things' mouth.
Yeah, we definitely make sure they get the good oats tonight.
So, throwing the door open, you encounter this block text. The sight of the timbers and thatched roof of the inn are welcome in the unending drizzle. Even more so is the curl of blue-gray smoke from the fieldstone chimney, speaking to you of warm hearth and hopefully some warm food and drink as respite from your travels. As the shadows... let's see here. Actually, the rest of that block text is not useful. I thought it was going to be about the interior. Block text, you've let me down. Throwing open, what you guys find is, as you can see, there's a couple of really long tables in there. There are some smaller tables. It is not nearly as busy as what you might expect with the prospect of a tourney, or at least folks traveling for a tourney. It looks like there's about a third that are full. And you can see there is an older woman with gray hair who is behind the... where would she be? I think making her way... Sitting kind of in one of the things. It's funny, this is a non sequitur, but you can tell this is sort of a... this is done by North Americans, I think, because the first floor... Maybe this is... I've got it wrong. I always get it wrong. For ground floor, first floor, because first floor for us would be the ground floor. Mm-hmm. So this is actually, consistent with the European sensibilities.
Which makes sense, medieval setting. I mean,
yeah, because like when we describe multi-level structures before, too, we run into issues with some of our British players who are like, "Wait, what? What floor are we on?" I don't understand.
Yeah.
Or they've made reference to something and I'm like, no, you're on the first floor. The fucking Abbott and Costello routine. Yeah, there's an older woman who is milling around here, and then there are a couple of kids. And just from the coloring of the children, mostly teenagers, they have different colored hair, different colored. They either are orphans or they have many fathers. And the woman, seeing the two of you step in, says, "Davin, see to them." And this young lad, pretty stout, but I mean, he's probably in his late teens, comes over. "Evening, sirs. Are your horses outside?"
Yes, as is our entourage. We have several.
Oh.
We need more than one set of hands to manage our horses. Davin, was it?
That's right, sir. Well, I'll see to them. And I'll see to your wagons and others as well.
The wagon contains. We found some poor souls taken on the road, and we're taking their remains to Uplands. Be sure not to disturb them.
But Masha, and she looks over, and just comes over. "What is it, Davin?" And this woman, you can see she's got gray hair, and her teeth are stained from chewing on, you would guess, sour leaf. So she comes over. "Evening, gentlemen. Would you be needing a place then? Davin can see to your horses here." And the young lad turns and says, "They've got bodies with them." She's, "What do you mean, bodies with you?"
Have you seen knights passing through here in the last day or so, heading south or towards Old Town?
We've seen several come through. Would you give us a charm check? Let me double check one thing here. I think gossip is typically used like you actively kind of ask around for it. I think charm is I think charm is what you want for this one person. I think you get plus 10 because your status. You've got that royal blood feature, so your status is higher too. So average with also a plus 10.
Okay, average target bonus 10. Boom.
Yeah, gossip is more asking around. Nice. Okay. So she says, "What do you mean? We've had several men traveling through with in armor. Who appear to be knights. I don't check on their."
A group of 4, one a boy about Davin's age.
Not that I can recall, sir. No.
Well, we found 3 bodies of men at arms and the boy stripped, their things taken, and well, we were going to leave them there for the ravens or the crows, or the carrion birds.
And oh my, that's
it's almost a whole day's journey away.
So coming from the north then?
Yes, or at least heading in that direction. We're not sure whether they were coming or going.
Well, I could tell you that we've had folks come through. We've even gotten, she gestures, there's one fella, you can see he looks like he has a look of a sellsword. I think, Sir Byron, you would recognize his type. There's someone there, he's got, his sword off and it's sitting next to him, his shield is sitting next to him, and he's wearing ring mail as well, or a mail coat as well in any event, and eating away and drinking. And she says, "We've had several come through. No one's staying here, at least. And I don't recall anyone coming through with no squire in the last couple of days." And she,
maybe they were on their way here, Sir Redrick.
perhaps. And then he'll look back at her and say, not to be too forward, but are you squeamish with bodies?
I don't. What are you asking? Are you intending on giving them a burial?
Not here, but I was wondering if you had the fortitude to look upon their faces and see if you recognize them.
She looks at Davin and looks back at you guys. Yes, but let's not. Let's spare that for any of them. If there is someone who can recognize a face, it'll be me. And Davin says, I could look too. And she says, Fuss, you've got chores to do. Go. And he says, there's horses, many of them from the sounds. Out.
And Sir Byron's horse is a handful, so I think he'll keep you busy.
All right. Take care with that one. Those knight's horses, they can be mighty big. So Davin leaves, and you can hear the sound of the rain outside as he goes to do that. He grabs a leather kind of poncho thing to throw on. And she says, thank you for your kindness, Sir Knight. He's going to have enough unpleasantness in time. He need not see such things. Come. Where have you got your body? Well,
bodies, there are 4.
Right? You grab a cloak and we'll get this grim business done.
Yeah.
So she grabs a cloak and follows you guys out. If you bring her out, the rain is just, again, fucking miserable evening. Mm-hmm. She says, you were traveling in this.
Yeah, and Sir Vidrical, he'll hold his shield up and try to keep some of the rain off of her, just kind of as a courtesy.
Okay. So if you go over to where the bodies are, you take the sheets off, revealing their faces. She takes a look at them. You hold a torch relatively close. She says, no, I'm sorry, sir, I don't recognize any of them.
Okay. Sir Vidrical, he'll sigh a bit and say, at least the road ahead may be safer than the road behind. Thank you, that at least puts our mind at ease.
What do you intend on doing with the bodies then? There is a septum up at the at Upland. You said you were traveling there?
Yeah, in the hopes that someone would recognize them. And if not, at least there they could get a burial.
That if there's nothing more to prove that they're knights than the stains of what you said, we don't know who they are, you might as well bury them in the woods, sir. Maybe the Uplands may someone up at House Mullendor, they may recognize him, but if not, these may be hedge knights at best, or at worst.
I'd take a look at her and say, how well can you keep a secret?
Me? Not well, sir. What confidence are you trying to take me into?
Do you know of Sir Timon? Is that... No.
I'm not familiar with the name, sir. Should I be?
I was just seeing if anybody was familiar with it. The lad spoke before he left this world, and because of that, we can't just assume they were hedge knights.
Was he calling out the name as his master or as the one attacking?
He only had enough strength for
those words. We don't know if it was his former master or those that did this.
Such a
but
shame.
We don't want to bring that kind of intrigue and danger to your inn. So it's best you forget the name.
I consider it forgotten, sir. Now, you'll keep these from the children.
As long as they don't go peeking in the wagon, they should be safe from it.
My kids know better than that. But
I'll pass her a silver stag for her trouble.
Oh, Most generous, sir. Thank you. Then we'll she'll lead out, and you can see that Corbin is sort of coordinating with members of your entourage to get the wagon into the stable. I guess it would be, yeah, they're going to lock it up in the horse barn, I suppose, along with stabling the horses in there. As you're leaving, I think Timos, before you head back inside, Timos and Aaliyah will come over and said, you were speaking to the proprietor.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were seeing if she recognizes the bodies at all, and perhaps the name.
Timos asks, did she know?
No. It seems that the road we've traveled may be worse than the road we're traveling now, because they could have been coming rather than going.
Well, then I suppose there is nothing for it. Do we bring the bodies to Upland, or do we leave them?
We'll bring them, just in the hopes that someone can recognize them, and if they're not knights, then they will at least get a good burial.
Aaliyah will say that is 3 days. A corpse will be arriving reeking like a charnel house.
I look over at Byron and like, should we just take their heads? That is a bit more gruesome than.
I don't know enough about this. Is just Kev. I don't know enough about the particulars of it. About the Faith of the Seven. I imagine disfiguring the corpses.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not like they are happily cut off heads and put them on spikes, for the more notorious leaders. But it's not like the whole taking a head to present. That's more of like a samurai thing, I think. Even having to the point head bags in order.
I was just thinking like a scene or two I saw in Game of Thrones where they took a head to identify a body further on than. What was it?
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember which scene it was.
Like, was it done for the point of horror?
Might have been. Yeah,
because I think like they definitely are cutting heads off, and like there's famously Ned Stark's head is.
Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah. Right,
and I think that's more for it's generally the horrific. I don't think it's a course of action or like an easy thing. Yeah, like without you could do it as well. I generally don't know. I'm not familiar enough with the setting whether that's would be seen as extremely horrific to.
I'm trying to navigate Sir Riddick's like honor bound. He wants to find out who killed these guys versus the expedience of getting rid of the bodies.
The other thing to consider is what state the head's going to be in 3 days of sitting around without any kind of preservation.
That's true.
Bloating and whatever else will be setting in at a certain point. So these bodies are going to be. There's nothing that's been done to preserve them, and they've been sitting. At least those bodies have been sitting around for at least a day. It'll be another day of travel. They're going to be in a state, and it's been wet. And again, like I actually don't know how long it takes for a body to disfigure, but
well, what's the temperature like?
It is late spring. It has been kind of chilly, but not below zero.
You've got about 3 days until they start bloating and reeking really bad if it's chilly enough.
But again, it's not chilly. It's not below zero Celsius. It's not freezing.
Yeah.
So,
good. What
do you guys think, Sir Byron? What do you think of that?
I think it's highly likely these men were traveling the same path as us, heading to this festival, and so bringing them forward doesn't gain us anything. Other than to maybe see the shock on the faces of those who took their armor, but it seems a gruesome endeavor to carry these heads that far for.
Yeah. I find myself at war with my sensibilities and practicalities in this situation. I think I'll lean towards your choice, Byron. Whatever you think best.
The Meister may be able to preserve the bodies for longer. They're pretty well. Now that I think of it, like they are pretty widely schooled. Let's take a look at what Willem has. I wonder if he could do something to help you with that.
I'm leaning towards bury them.
And I definitely did not want to leave them for carrion. That's something he just no.
Let me make a check here for.
I mean, if anything, the boy is the freshest, I would say. Oof. Good roll.
Meister Willem is familiar with certain relatively common spices and such that could preserve the bodies. It's unlikely you'd be able to preserve all four, but if you want to pick one of them, perhaps we could impose on the proprietress and get some supplies and then do what we can to preserve the bodies, both to prevent them from stinking too much and also from further deterioration, at least until you guys reach Upland.
Probably the best middle ground we have here.
What body do you wish to preserve then? There, you can imagine, like, amongst the men, there's like from the oldest to the youngest among the adults, at least the apparent ages, or the squire.
I'm leaning towards the eldest of them because if anybody would recognize him, he'd be the one people would recognize. But
the oldest.
Yeah, the more grizzled or one in better shape, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. If any of them is going to be a knight, it's going to be the one that looks like he has the physique of a knight.
Right. Sure.
Okay.
So,
Riddick isn't doing any of this for like his own benefit. This is strictly code speaking. Like, at least try to find justice for the four.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. And I mean, with the Meister, Maester. This is why you keep a Maester around, right? Is because they have these kinds of obscure, obscure bits of knowledge. So that will be what Maester Willem is taking care of for you this evening. What are you guys intending on doing in the tavern? I think that many of your colleagues will be turning in early. But Timos will welcome a hot meal, as will Aaliyah, and a drink always warms the bones.
Yeah.
I think after today,
time in the tavern, yeah.
I think Riddick will get at least one drink, just to blunt the events of the day.
Sure. So then, why don't you each give us an average consume alcohol check, please?
Mm-hmm.
Does not drink very often. Okay, nothing really bad happens until you drink too many.
I think you get -10 already. Yeah, the really bad stuff will come. Sir Byron has got this covered. Do you want a fortune?
Yeah, fortunate.
Yours can.
Might as well spend at least one this session. Okay, so he half chokes it down and starts sputtering, but manages to get it down.
Okay, so the you guys are sitting and enjoying one another's company. So Timos, I'm assuming let Timos know what Maester Willem is doing.
Yeah,
he definitely approves of that. I think Aaliyah is going to be socializing to try and get further information, so she'll be using gossip effectively. And Timos says, is it common for knights to be laid upon by bandits so readily? Byron?
No. I mean, usually the knights would have an upper hand. Bandits would target those less vulnerable than knights.
And what would they... I know at tourneys, armor is ransomed back to the knight defeated, but what would they hope to gain? Surely bandits aren't trained in wearing armor and fighting as such.
No, maybe they think they'll get a high value for it at the festival, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Ridrick is he'll kind of like, he's sitting next to him, kind of like clearing his throat, trying to keep that alcohol there, and he'll say, Temos, you understand the code of chivalry, yes?
I do.
How it keeps us on the straight and narrow and guides our behavior. There are men that, when they are not bound by such codes, can sink to the lowest of human behavior. Even some of the great knights, when they abandon the code, can sink to those kind of levels.
Like the bad apple.
Yes, and in this case, it could be a very clever bad apple that seeks to make use of... I mean, he may have lost everything and is seeking to regain his footing.
You think of fallen knight.
That, or is it some kind of conspiracy that they dare not delve too deep in? There's a reasons we keep the code. And reasons we come down hard on those that break it.
Where do you think they've gone? Whoever stole their armor. And their horses. There were no horses there.
Most armor, this is me speaking, that is made is probably got a mark or something on who made it. So
yep.
Most plate armor is like, you can tell where it's been and where it's come from.
Yep.
Riddick will say they may be going to some kind of smith to get it altered, to sell it, to piecemeal it out. Or they could be changing it just enough to pass as something new. Just like scraping the serial number off a gun or something.
The difficulty, though, would be like, you're not wrong about the markings, and you can tell the difference between Castle Forge steel and, common forge steel. But, I mean, it's not like they would be necessarily, there's a database of them or something like that. Like, it would be, You would have to know what you were looking for.
That's why it's so easy to get forgeries.
Well, not only that, but like even stolen, there's also stuff that is passed down for heirlooms and so forth. So, what? I
only say that because Ridrick has trained Smith, so he'd be a little bit more knowledgeable about that.
So why don't let's see here. Byron and Ridrick, would you each give us an? I think it would be a perception. So make sure you're going to add, if you've got your helm and your quaff listed on your sheet, make sure you're adding plus 30 to the result. If you've got them all listed as worn. And Byron, you're going to get plus 10 to this as well because of your hearing. And why don't you make it at average, please?
I don't imagine I'm wearing my koi for my my actual helm inside. I'm probably not even wearing plate inside. It's probably just the mail.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ridrick, what a roll.
Okay. So, Ridrick, perhaps it's a moment of just where there's that, like, a strange lull in the tavern, and something catches your ear because you don't... That's weird. Someone has just cursed in a debased form of High Valyrian. Like, it's... The bastard form of Valyrian is what is used in the Free Cities. And it's not that someone's speaking in it, but someone has been, like... has cursed in bastard Valyrian and then has spoken in the common tongue again. And now that you've heard it, there's definitely an accent to that thing. And with 6 degrees of success, it is an accent of the Free Cities. You look over and you can see that sellsword has just yelled at the serving girl. And what he's insisting on is, he said something to the effect of, like, fuck girl, bring me the good drink. It's freezing. But in place of that curse, he has used a curse in the bastard Valyrian.
It's definitely got my attention now.
You can give us an, if you want to follow up, you can give us a challenging insight check.
Intuition?
Intuition, forgive me, yeah. Let me make a...
Marginal failure.
But it is a challenging, it's a contested roll, though.
Okay.
Right, so... yeah, so the way this guy is talking, let me show you his face here, too.
Oh, he don't look friendly at all.
Here's our sellsword. And he has a interesting mix. I mentioned he was wearing ringmail. He's got a shield. He has the look of someone who definitely has seen a lot of fights. But the way that he is speaking, he has the accent of perhaps someone from, let me double check perhaps Tyroshi, perhaps from Lys, from one of the Free Cities, further to the, I believe, the south. And he looks absolutely fucking miserable. How did you do on your insight roll here? Oh, marginal failure. Do you want to fortune point that?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you already contested. Hold on, it was contested roll. Ignore me.
Yeah.
So that is what you were able to... There's a map of Essos in here. Give me a second. Let me grab my... I do have my maps here.
Didn't get a hint that he was being, like, aggressive towards her, right? He's just like, damn it, give me the good stuff.
I mean, aggressive the way that... yeah, I mean, definitely he is aggressive. He doesn't look like he's going to do anything further, but he's definitely not been friendly with her.
Okay. But it's more of the code. If he does decide to lay hands on her, then he's going to get hands laid on him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't get involved with every single, like, altercation.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyrosh and Mir. I can tell you, Tyrosh and Lys, forgive me, are the south. Tyrosh and Lys, incidentally, are 2 of the 3 cities, along with Mir, that surround the disputed lands.
See, I think in response to seeing that, Roderick will respond in Old Valyrian, just loud enough that his voice carries over there, and says, he'll say, how... Basically along the lines of, how good of the stuff do you expect this place to have in the middle of nowhere?
He looks kind of surprised at you. Sir Byron, I don't think you speak High Valyrian, right?
No, I do not.
The common tongue? So he kind of looks over at you and is trying to gauge who the hell you are. And give us a charm check, Sir Ridrick. And you will get plus 10 to this because of your royal blood.
Average, challenging?
This will be, I think, average.
Okay. Come on, noble blood. Now I'll spend that.
Fortune that?
Okay. Yeah. Fortune now to avoid a fight is probably the best thing. There we go.
Nice. So he looks over and he says, you speak in this, he says this in Bastard Valyrian, so he's got a, it's a debased version of what you learned, and it is accented quite heavily. But he says, who are you that you speak Valyrian? There's not many here who do.
I am Sir Roderick Rain, currently of serving House Sergeant.
Would both Byron and Ridrick give us another challenging insight check, please?
Intuition.
Intuition, thank you. Yeah. 3, sir, 3.
Oof.
Great.
Now that I can lock eyes with the guy, I can probably get his... Holy crap.
Wow.
You guys both know, as soon as Ridrick, so you're not, Byron, you're kind of watching back and forth as he's speaking to this guy in Valyrian, in High Valyrian, and what he does, the one word or the two words you do recognize is Ridrick Rain. When he says Rain, both of you can see his eyes. He either has drunk too much or he's just a terrible card player. But he gets his eyes kind of go wide. And then he hunches over his drink like the guiltiest and most obvious guilty person you could contemplate. Does not respond at all to what you said. The girl brings over the drink and he kind of mutters something to her, but only like cautiously and as surreptitiously as he can muster, trying to keep an eye on you guys as if he's, really disinterested in talking to you any further. With rolls that good, there is something askew with this guy having heard the word rain.
Oh.
You two look at one another, and Timos has not picked up on this. He seems to be... Hold on. Does Timos speak? Let me take a look here.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Being, heir of the House Sergeant?
Yeah, he does speak Valyrian.
Okay.
Let me see if he picked up what you guys were saying. Or more to the point, just the subtleties. He didn't quite... So he's understanding. And Timos says, curious for... I suppose life takes us in strange places. A sellsword this deep into the... What do you think? Is he bound for the tournament?
A sellsword? Unlikely. However...
I think... So Timos is not picking up that you two have this kind of like knowing look between the two of you. You know, you clocked that this fellow's got something to hide.
Yeah, what? Why would he react that way to your name?
I'm not sure, but I would like to find out. Do you still have any of the good stuff you brought from Broken Spire?
I mean, you guys are broke, right? Your house does not have a lot of money, so you're not traveling with any good stuff.
I know. I mean, probably better some of the stuff they have here, but I'm sure Byron took a bottle or two with him.
But again, you probably don't have it though, so why would you?
Well, I was thinking about going over there and bribe the guy.
You could try that.
I'll tell Byron. I'm gonna go talk to this sellsword. Bit rude. He didn't give me his name.
I will watch your back.
Yeah. And I'll get up, grab my ale or my mug and walk over there. And I'll try to circle around so that I'm coming from the door. So if he tries to get up and move, that I'm between him and the door.
Sure. Let me check here. Okay. So why am I putting that away? I'm probably going to roll more dice. So you're making your way over. Are you trying to hide yourself, or are you making it obvious that you're coming over?
Well, I'm not trying to hide myself when I'm heading towards the door, and then I turn around when I get between him and the door and then walk towards him.
Sure. Give us an agility check, please. And make it at difficult.
Not great at that, but
I don't think you got no training in stealth, right?
No.
No, okay. All right, but it is a contested. So he looks over and he sees that you're coming, and he grabs his sword and kind of stands up, grabs his shield, and he is going to try and avoid you and make his way kind of around the table to put a space between you and then start trying to make his way towards the door.
Yeah, I'll stop when he does that, with me between him and the door, and I'll just hold up my mug and an empty hand and then look at the table and then back at him.
Okay. Give us a...
no move for my weapon.
Yeah, give us a challenging charm check, please. Or make it difficult, actually, because... Okay.
I'm going to fortune that. I really want this to work out.
Mm-hmm.
He has information that I want. Come on. Oh.
Okay. So he looks, and he just kind of shakes his head, and he's like, "I got nothing to say to you." And Byron, you can hear the accent now too.
Mm-hmm.
Even speaking in English, he sounds like someone from the Free Cities.
I'll respond in Valerian and say, it's the height of rudeness to not give your name when you are given one, sir.
Give us an intimidate check, please.
Challenging?
Challenging, yeah, it's contested.
There we go. I'm somewhat better at that.
Okay, I got a crit fail on his cool. So he sputters and he says, "Corvin."
Well met, Corvin. Would you like to talk?
He looks at you and then looks over at Sir Byron. What's the look on Sir Byron's face right now?
Like, you better do what the man says, sort of thing.
Give us an intimidate check, please. A challenging.
Yeah.
His sword's bigger than mine.
Challenging. Where is?
Come on.
A crit success.
What does Sir Byron do to put a point on it with that critical success?
I think it's like one of those, like, he, just like cracks his knuckles in such a way that is like, you can see not only that he's got big fists, but that they've hit a lot of things, It's sort of one of those... So
he looks at the two of you. It's like, fine. A drink won't hurt. If you're paying.
I'll make the point of sitting down at his table first and then waving the serving girl over.
Okay.
And I'll say 2 for him.
He looks at you, looks at Byron, and then makes his way over, places the shield, where he'll be safe. He places the sword pretty close to him as he sits down. Sir Byron, are you joining them as well, or are you remaining at the table with Timos?
Would he join them? Yeah, I think he would at this point. Maybe he would just get up and go like lean on the wall or a post or something that is very strategically close to the to the table that they're sitting at.
Okay. So he sits down, the drinks are brought over. The way I'll tell you too, just the way I've interpreted this is he got the crit fail on his cool. You guys succeeded in the intimidate. Instead of him like being freaking out and running or something like that, because your intimidate was trying to get him to do something, you've achieved what you wanted to do, rather than him just being afraid or running or something like that.
Right.
And with the crit, you know what I'll do is I'll impose a fear condition on him, which I think gives -10 to a bunch of fear 1, -1 success level on all tests, as long as you're near the source of your fear. So,
thank you, Sir Brian.
Goodness.
Yeah, so you take your position, and he sits down, and I'll put his name on his token as well. So he sits down, and when the girl brings over the drink, he snatches it basically just as she puts it down, and he downs it in one gulp, and then begins nursing sloppily drinking the second one.
It's like, well met, Corvin. Just to ease your mind, I will not draw my blade against you unless you draw yours again. And he'll stress that again, as though the first time was an insult.
He didn't draw his blade. He picked up the sword.
Yeah.
Well, he would need to carry it if he's going up to bed, right? So, like that's all he did.
Yeah. And, I'm curious as to why the name of Rain set you off. I know that family name is not well liked near the uplands.
Set me off? What do you mean? I got nothing against your people.
Men's eyes do not widen and they hunch over their drinks when they've got nothing against a person or people. Tell me what you know. I mean you no harm.
What do you mean? Tell you. Give us another charm check, please. Challenging.
Okay. Challenging. Come on.
And you get the +10 because of your royal blood.
There we go.
Okay. So, and he's also got -1 because of Sir Byron being here too. So he looks at you and he looks at Sir Byron. He leans in and he says, "I've got no quarrel with Rains."
Would this be Rains as a family or a singular rogue Rain?
Now, charm is what you use to deceive as well too. When you say you mean him no harm, is that the truth or not?
That's true. He's done nothing under my code to make me hostile towards him.
Okay. So he kind of studies your eyes. Who are you?
I'm Rydrick. I was sent to House Sergeant to make up for the actions of one of my kin, and I mean to do so.
He has the look of a trapped animal when he realizes you're not the kind of Rain he wanted to speak to. He sits back, his eyes continually going up to Sir Byron. I don't want no trouble.
Neither do I.
Just trying to avoid the weather. It's foul. That's why I stayed.
I'm journeying towards the tourney. And
that's where I'm going too.
A sellsword at the tourney. What?
Is the melee? There are ways. You don't necessarily need to be a knight. There's other things and other activities you can get involved with, even if you're not a knight, particularly to make some cash. It's also a good place to try and hire on. Not for nothing, tourneys often result in people getting injured. So if you need to hire more, hands in order to help out, it's a good place for Celsor to pick up some work as well.
Yeah, I'll say.
But I can tell you, he's lying. You can both tell from your what do you call it? Intuition rolls from before. This guy's lying. He's not traveling there. He never had any intent of going to There's something else going on here.
And did you travel up the road as we did, coming from the north?
Once again, those eyes are getting pretty wild. I didn't. No, I came from the Old Town. The road to Old Town. He's lying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the same road we traveled.
You guys came. If you're lying right now,
the back way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you guys came.
I'm trying to fish to see if he passed by the bodies and didn't do anything about it, or was lying about it.
He's lying about coming from the road to Old Town would go directly to the west. So Old Town is. Let me just quickly.
I'm imagining we came through the hills southwise towards this area.
Yeah,
so.
you guys came through. Oh, wrong fucking map. Hold up. So you guys came along the kind of the march's paths.
Mm-hmm.
There's a path that would sort of lead all the way along. What I imagine you guys are trying to do is just kind of follow this along and then cut out to Sunhouse. He would have come directly from Old Town. Or that's what he's saying, at least. And he's lying.
They kind of toss back a little bit of the drink as I just look at him quietly.
I don't want no trouble.
If you don't want trouble, lying is not the best means to go about it, Sir Corbin.
What do you mean? I ain't lied to you. That's also a lie.
Yeah. I just stare at him with my eyes. Well, what else am I going to stare at him with?
I stare at him with my feet.
Yeah, I'm like...
Bold stratagem.
Uncomfortable 10 seconds as I just stare at him.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Also, you've got that night eyes thing too, so maybe there's like a little bit of a strange reflection, of the light cast in it. Why don't you give us another... If you want to try and increase this guy's fear level, give us another intimidate check, please. Mm-hmm. He's already got -1 to his cool. I just failed my cool by 0.
Okay, let's see. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So his fear's up to 2. His hand is shaking as he's bringing this mug up to his lips.
And I'll say, does the name Sir Tywin mean anything to you, Sir Corbin?
Wasn't it Timon?
Timon, yes. Sorry. All the T names.
Yeah. Just wait till you get to the fucking Lannister family tree. It's exhausting. Yeah. And like Timos, I think, is one of the fathers, so it's a disaster. He kind of coughs. And I think that... oh, boy. I think, let me make a cool check for him.
Well, if it'll help, I got one more thing to say to him before he decides to bolt.
No, he's holding it together, actually. I rolled a pretty good success. And he says, I don't know it.
I'll say in Old Valyrian as like the last breaths of a dying boy say many things.
Oh, I don't think he can resist trying to run at that. So why don't we roll initiative here, guys? And I don't know, you don't know what he said to him in High Valyrian, Sir Byron, but he is freaking the fuck out now.
I figured he would if he was actually behind it. That's why I decided to say
yeah, and you guys did a great job of just whittling him down, too. Well, I don't know, I'm rolling. It's a set score. Hold up.
Is it this?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you don't roll it. So rules was written, you don't roll initiative. There are optional rules for Rolling initiative, but
like I meant this guy no harm until he's made it very clear that harm is necessary here.
yeah. Okay.
Man, I have to apologize to the innkeeper for making a mess of her.
Okay, so he has 44. Did I put 2 turns for him? I did. Cav, quit cheating.
It's just in case you deleted a token, right?
Oh, I didn't delete the token. Oh,
I
yeah,
know.
sorry. I see what you mean. Yes. Yeah. All right, so Sir Ridrick, you're sitting across from him right now, and you can tell he's about to try and get away. Let's talk about advantage that you guys start with.
Turning off my plate because I'm not wearing that right now.
Yeah, you guys would. I think you said you're just wearing your chain, and likely have the coifs down right now too, because that would not be comfortable sitting around with that shit pinching at your hair. Now, starting advantage.
There.
Have to be clear, is he holding a weapon, or does he have a weapon on his side?
He has a sword next to him that has not been drawn from
next to
its
him.
scabbard yet.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, so setting the advantage pool. You guys definitely have an advantage for outnumbering. 2 to 1. I think you've got the advantage of terrain because, Sir Byron, you're actually standing when this guy is sitting down. So we're going to start you guys have 3 advantage at the start. We have different ways we can do this. Yeah, great. The way that, John, if you keep track of the advantage, that's terrific. You see the blue dot that's on Ridrick's token there, Jeff?
Yeah.
That's how much advantage you have access to. Advantage can be spent for things like taking an extra action is 2 advantage. Flee from harm is 2 advantage. And then doing things like battering your foe down or something like that is 1 advantage. But Sir Ridrick, you're up first. What would you like to do?
Brawling is not my strong suit. It's either deadly force or not. I'll stand up and I will draw my sword.
One reminder, if you guys outnumber, remember, that's plus 20.
I've got no brawling skills.
Setting aside any other kind of factors, outnumbering him will give you a plus 20 to...
Okay, well, yeah, I'll just add brawling in there with no training in it, so I'm not that bad.
Okay.
Because my weapon skill is quite high. In that case, I'll just I'll try to reach over and grab him with like his sword arm and say, don't.
Sure, let's see here. Okay, grappling. So first, an opposed brawling check. And you got plus 20 to yours.
Challenging, plus 20.
And I failed by 1.
Succeeded by 1.
Succeed by 1. Nice. All right. So you leap across, and he gains the entangled condition. So you grabbed hold of him. Entangled, I believe, just means he cannot move.
Entangled.
Let's see.
It's not on the common list.
What you could also do, if you want to, say, take a second action.
Oh yeah, because I got a point of advantage for succeeding.
You did. So you got 4 advantage right now. You could spend 2 advantage to take another test, and could try again and drag him prone.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So then this is an opposed strength test. You will get plus 20. Yeah, Byron's not engaged with the grapple yet, so you're not going to get the outnumbered benefit from that.
Yeah, he's got to be in the grapple with me to get the bonus, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then I failed by 1.
Succeeded by 1.
Nice!
So
what do we see, Sir Ridrick, as you...
So I noticed, just see his eyes going open. He's about to start standing up, and I just leap forward. I grab his arm, and then I tug him forward, grab the back of his head, and I'll not harshly slam it against the table, but kind of pin him down on the table so he can't run.
All right. So he is...
And I'll whisper to him, just real quickly, is like, I can be as brutal as the rogue if I need to be.
Okay. And as a reminder, you don't get, from that extra action you buy with advantage, you don't get extra advantage from succeeding on that. So then, so he's entangled. I think it's a contested strength to try and get free. Yeah. So he's going to try and wiggle free. He's got -2 success levels for the fear.
Okay.
And... -10 to his roll because of the of being entangled. So go ahead and give us a strength check there at challenging, Ridrick.
Succeeded by 5.
I succeeded by 4, so he's not able to get out of your grip. And that is it for him. Sir Byron, what do you want to do?
I guess I could attempt to secure his weapon.
Yeah, you can easily do that.
Yeah, just, lean over, grab his sword, take control of it.
Okay. Would you give us a challenging perception check, please? No, average, because you're a trained knight.
Yeah. Don't forget your helmet's off, so.
Average.
So that's a +30.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You pick up this thing. If you check, this is Castle Forge steel. If he's a sellsword, then it's possible he's got this, but this is something that would be forged by a blacksmith in a noble's hold. That's your action for the round. Sir Ridrick, what are you doing?
Maintain the hold on him, right?
You could also inflict damage if you choose.
I think I will. Do I get do you say anything about the sword there, Byron?
I will. I will next round. But
okay. So if you want to if you just want to try and let's see here.
I want to give the impression that I'm willing to hurt him if he struggles, and he's struggling a little bit.
I was trying to see if there's multiple levels to entangled, because it says you can give them an entangled condition, so I wonder if you can increase it. No, you can't.
If I find out he killed that boy, he's not going to have a good time.
Okay. So you can just hold the... Let's see here. If you begin your turn grappling, you may break the grapple. Oh, you know what it'll get you is more advantage if you succeed in this.
Okay.
So go ahead and give us a strength check once again.
Okay.
And I'm imposing all his penalties. I've critically failed.
+4.
So +1 advantage.
Okay. And then I will I'll speak to him again in High Valerian or Old Valerian and say, there's no good ending for you if you keep struggling.
Give us another intimidate check, please.
Okay. And do I apply my noble thing to that?
Yep. Your status is still... you would speak with authority for sure.
I have no more.
No, but it is contested. So... and I failed. You got 3 degrees of success. I think what you see is he just slumps to the ground, and he says, "Fine."
Then I'll hold him there for a moment or two more before I release him.
Okay.
I imagine Byron's right behind him.
Sir Ridrick, would you give us, because you're in so close, give us an average perception check, please. And remember to offset the penalty for your various headgear.
The dice have turned on me.
Okay. Sir Byron.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was doing that.
Yeah, you would have rolled as well, too. So I think in the struggling, here's something you actually notice, because that's an astounding success. Is as he pulls down, that collar that he's got up there pulls down, and you can see something. There's a tattoo on his neck. And you see that, and it is a tattoo of a cluster of eyes. And if you count the number, it is 9 eyes.
Oh.
Where are my notes?
What are they called? The 9?
Was the band of 9, but 9 eyes is something that has come up.
Mm-hmm. Jolly Fellows. Captain of the Jolly Fellows.
Yeah. The Jolly Fellows is, do you remember what, who that is?
Lyamond Lashari?
No, 9 Eyes is actually the name of the captain of the Jolly Fellows.
9 Eyes.
But he's a smuggler and pirate from the Free Cities. This marking, I think Sir Byron, because of such a great success on it, you see that, and I think you recognize, like, this person must be a member of the crew of the Jolly Fellows.
That makes sense. Now we know what's going on with the armor, the weapons.
Right.
So this guy has pretty much given up at this point. He doesn't think there's anywhere you can fight. You've got his sword, so what happens next, guys?
I pull the sword, show the blade a bit out of his sword, and I say, I know this sword is not yours. Where did you acquire it?
He looks up at you. The owner wasn't using it no more.
I'd look at him and say, did you find them already dead?
He looks back at you. They were when we were done with them.
Mm-hmm.
You say anything about the tattoo? Did I know about it, or did I see it?
I would probably point it out to you.
Sir Byron could go down and kind of pull the collar down and make it clear to you.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah. That's right. You know what that means? You know what's going to happen to you?
Pretty good idea.
You let me go. I don't need to tell anyone what happened. You know, from your rolls from before for intuition, he is terrified and he is absolutely full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
The wavering in his voice tells you that this is him trying to pretend to be tough when he is absolutely shitting himself.
Mm-hmm. If Byron looks over at Rydrick, you'll see like that completely stoic look on his face. But you've seen him once or twice where there's a fire behind his eyes. And Rydrick will stand up, and it says, "Byron, let's take Corvin to go see the results of his actions." To the wagons?
Yes.
I think Masha would come over finally at this point and be like, "What's going on?" Probably to Byron, because if Rydrick's got his hands on Corvin.
Yeah.
So Masha comes over to you, Byron. What's going on? Who is he?
One of the bandits, I think. We think.
A cutthroat. Here?
Yes.
I thought he sounded like he was from over the sea.
He is.
Not a good man, that's for sure.
So if Byron, you're going to accompany Ridrick, what do you guys want to do with him?
You guys remember the scene from Game of Thrones where, Robb Stark fulfilled his duty and took care of that one noble that was causing so much trouble?
Yep.
Yep. That an execution is occurring, but Corbin gets to look at the faces of those he helped murder before he dies.
So if you're bringing him out, I think Aaliyah will stop Sir Byron and say, learn what you can before Sir Ridrick loses himself to his justice.
Yes.
Ridrick is well enough contained that he will, the death is coming for Corbin. It can wait just a little bit longer.
Yeah. So Sir Ridrick has lost him out. Aaliyah is the one who's whispered that to you, Sir Byron.
Yeah.
So if you join him outside, Corvin is not saying much, if anything, as you're leading him out. You catch up to Sir Ridrick. Where does Sir Ridrick take Corvin? With the horses and whatnot secured, the stable is shut right now and probably dark, so you'll have to grab a torch from maybe outside the front to lead that along. The innkeeper mentioned there might be a place to bury the bodies nearby. She suggested in the woods.
Mm-hmm. So, and we're probably going to be getting 3 spots ready for the other bodies. Might as well get a 4th one ready.
I mean, like, you haven't instructed any of your people to do that yet, so they've all gone to bed. You're taking him out.
Yeah, we'll have to deal with this.
Yeah. Okay. So you're leading him off into the woods, and he seems fully cowed at this point, just with how much you guys have set them down. How far into the woods do you want to lead him?
100 yards.
Okay, so you're quite some distance into the woods. It's just you, the rain, and the woods around you.
Like Sir Corvin, what you have done is unforgivable. You've taken the life of innocence. Your life is forfeit. Is there anything you'd like to say before you join them in their journey?
Says nothing.
Well.
So I think it sounds like Sir Ridrick is going to draw his sword at that point, Sir Byron. So it seems like your time is running out here. If you
what would I do? I think I would. I'd put a hand to stop Sir Ridrick for a second, like sort of as he's pulling out his blade. Just a minute. And I think I'll let him know. I'll say, there are quick ways to die, and there are very painful ways to die. You have one choice left. Tell us what you know, and I will make sure it is quick. Or it shall not be so nice.
Give us an intimidate check at challenging, please.
It's totally bluffing.
Yeah. Oh, the code of chivalry is not preclude torture as a means to an end. It's just it has to be justified.
Yeah, he's bluffing. He wouldn't really.
Richard doesn't want to torture him either, but
no, he's just trying to scare him.
We already know who killed the kids or was involved with it, so this is going to be.
What's the challenge?
Challenge will be it's a contested one, so it'll be.
Oh, it's contested, yeah. So just do challenge.
Challenging.
So it's flat, yeah. Okay, here we go.
I've imposed all his fear levels on here too. All right, so he looks at you, and there's a moment of just Sir Ridrick has his hand on his sword. The rain is coming down. You've locked eyes with this guy. You're probably few inches taller than this fella, and he knows, or at the very least, he believes that you are telling the truth in this.
Mm-hmm.
So what he says is what you learn. he has hooked up with local bandits along with his fellows. He is, if you push him, he is part of Nine Eyes' crew.
Mm-hmm.
He is here with other fellows, but they have carried on. The bandits have gone back to a camp. That's about a half-day ride. But they were hired. His companions, the other 3, have carried on to the tournament. That's only this if he's volunteered. You can certainly ask questions. It is, there's no obvious reason why a member of a pirate smuggling crew would be this far inland or in the Reach at all, for that matter.
Right.
Nine Eyes is a pirate who generally plies the narrow sea and the region around the Stepstones and at most on western or southwestern Westeros. This is way out of their normal operating area and right in the heart of where the Red Wine fleet is located. So sailing under the nose of one of the most powerful navies in Westeros, if not the most.
Why go through all this trouble? To what ends?
We have friends now. Nine Eyes. They swore a pact.
And this is why you don't want to get on the Rain's bad sides, is because Reuben is involved, is he not?
Reuben, he's a sellsword.
Mm-hmm.
He is not. The Band of Nine swore an oath under the Tree of Crowns. And you could give us a difficult Westeros or the Reach check for lore, because this is not something here.
Barely failed that.
Yeah.
Difficult.
This is one of these occasions where rolling low may help you here, Jeff.
Oh.
I said it out loud. Forgive me.
Fortune, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're unfortunate. We got 9 minutes left. You want to fortune that?
Yeah, I might as well try one more time.
Planning on a little twist ending here, so if Kevin will roll with it. Do a little cliffhanger.
Oh, it's terrible.
Okay. So you have no idea what he's talking about, the Tree of Crowns. But he says that Rain was not one of those. He is not of the 9.
And he shall die like a sellsword.
Any other questions?
We know roughly the location of the camp now, so in the direction, right? Did he give it?
He'll give up the camp. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit about them.
Yeah.
He won't. He still will not give you anything further about the other, the crew members of the what was it? The Jolly Fellows.
That's good.
So he's not going to betray his former or his crew members, but he happily gives you the camp for where the bandits are.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No. I think that's good.
Ben? John, you got something in mind?
Yeah, twist ending. I'm gonna step back a little bit and Byron, give the man back his sword. He's done at least one honorable thing, so he can die like a man with a sword in his hand.
Okay, I hand him his sword.
And I think instead of just a straight up summary execution, we could fade to black about going into honorable combat to make sure this guy pays his for his crimes.
So the sword hits the ground, the mud on the ground. He's on his knees, broken, cold. And I think he looks up, and that's probably where we'll end the session then, is uncertain as to whether Corwin is going to take up the sword or something else is planned. And we'll find out, I guess, what happens next time. So then, for each of you guys will get 100 XP as well.
Nice.
And we'll bring ourselves...
And, like, thinking about leaving the session with just a cold execution is kind of just like, no, we want something more climactic than that.
What else? I mean, realistically, like, there's one way of thinking of, like, okay, we think that this is him giving a fair fight. A more jaundiced view is, like, obviously you are a better combatant than this guy, so you're just going to be able to work out your frustrations on him, right? So
this trial by combat is kind of a big thing in Westeros, so it's...
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's just very... Because what is the Faith of the Seven is kind of what Rydrick is a bit into.
Not a bit into. You swore... You swore oaths to the Seven as part of your knightly vows. So did Survivor, for that matter.
Yeah. So part of his thing is the gods will determine the righteousness of this execution. Yep. So,
which is
just leaning on his
I
own
love
anger.
that because it is also, it's consistent with it too, but it's as much bullshit as trial by combat is in our world. Where it's just like, if someone is a big bully and a fucking amazing combatant, it doesn't matter whether the gods are with him or not. They're going to murder someone. But this is awesome.
A chance.
Well, and this is something I think is such a good pairing of the Warhammer Fantasy with this too, is that, like, because of this unpredictable nature of combat, like, you can have those kind of like, how the fuck did that happen, right? Like the duel between the Oberyn Martell and the Mountain, right? That's a great outcome. So, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of Coming of the Nine, our Westeros fantasy roleplay, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, A Song of Ice and Fire mashup game. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the fledgling campaign, I guess we're starting here, then please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have channels dedicated to the Warhammer, many Warhammer games we run on the channel, including Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, as well as most of the other games and campaigns we run on the channel. There's a link down below to, there's also channels there for Find a Group, GM discussion, virtual tabletop chat, convention chat. There's a terrific, helpful, knowledgeable, and friendly community over there. You're more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, like, for instance, the A Song of Ice and Fire RPG from Green Ronin. If you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code Happy Muse Year. It's listed down below. It'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more, and that'll change as of April 15, 2025. So if you're listening after that time, come back to one of our more recent videos and you'll see what the current discount code is now. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to John and Jeffrey for such a fucking fun session. I'm very pleased with the pairing of this, and you guys did an incredible job role-playing these characters through this too. So thank you very much, guys, for such an enjoyable session.
It was fun.
We'll be back, I'm sure, sooner rather than later in Westeros to see what happens of this duel with a jolly fellow. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our servants of House Sargent are encountering on their way to attend this tourney. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.